Back at it again with another video, Coffee Talk, coming to you live with a brand new one today. And I think this is a direction we're going to start going a little bit more into, because if you guys haven't seen my video that I posted recently, I'll link it down below. But basically I talked about how looks maxing and fitness has ruined an entire generation kind of deal. I think it's really important because there's a question that really messed me up for most of my life. And I think it's a question that messes up a lot of you. And that is, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? For the younger guys and even older guys, where it's like, I'm in a career, I don't really like this. And that was the word for me growing up, was career. What's going to be your career when you get older? And it made you think in this way where it's like, if I don't pick this right, I'm screwed. If I pick this wrong, I'm going to hate my life. So there's a lot of pressure on the line when you're thinking about it. And it's really funny because I think everyone's progressed a little bit, and so they understand that certain things are possible. But the question is it possible for me? Is it possible for me to really get to where I want to be in my life with the goals that I have? Because we all have those things where we have an understanding of what we want our lives to look like. But I think the way people preface it's almost like this fake vision in their heads that they're after. And it's actually an incorrect way of looking at it. The way you should be looking at it is, what day-to-day process, what do I want my day-to-day to actually look like for the long haul that genuinely fires me up? And it's not fires you up as in I'm so excited to wake up. I think there is some of that, but it's still always going to come with like, I got to do what I got to do. And I think people really mistake this. Like, you can have both. You can feel excited about your life, but also hate the things that you do during your day. But it's worth it to you because everything that you do in a day-to-day process fills you up spiritually. And people don't realize this, but especially now with the making money and the business content online, I've been getting asked so much about it. Like, can you please talk about business? Can you please talk about content? And it's not that I never wanted to talk about it, but I wanted to bring the story for myself. And my story began with fitness. That is how I basically set up everything that happened in my life. It's not just because it's like, oh, dude, you're ripped and stuff. This helps, no doubt. But you realize it's those things that you've had to learn through getting good at one thing and getting one part of your life super dialed in that allows you to come to these answers. The amount of business answers that I come up with that people are like, wow, that's actually extremely smart, literally come as a cross of how I got into the best shape of my life. These synchronicities are absolutely mind-boggling, truthfully. But I really want you to think of this in terms of how to find your career or your calling or what you want to do the rest of your life. What people don't do is figure out, how can I be a service? And I really want you to understand, because what you're after is money in your head. This is the feature you're chasing. But it should be a part of you. Like, it should feel like breathing, like as natural as breathing, the things that you do in your day. You don't have to tell yourself to be disciplined to certain stuff, you just do it. And that's because it's devotion over discipline. And that requires, for you to be devoted to something, requires conviction. I don't even like using the word confidence anymore, because confidence is so external. Discipline is so external. Devotion is internal. Conviction is internal. And we all know this. We all know the things that we're naturally good at, but we want to be seen in a certain way. So we kind of abstain from those things because it's like, well, that's not pragmatic, and the way it needs to work is X, Y, and Z. There's enough business content online when it's going to teach you systems and how to get from $0 to 10K. That's not how I'm going to preach this. And you guys know the way I do things is always going to be inherently different, but that's because I really have walked a way of life that is my own. And the only thing I can do is offer perspective on the life that I've lived. That doesn't mean I have all of the answers, but I have the answers to my equation. And if you're anything like me, and if you're new here, you understand that there's a lot of you guys that are very similar to me. This is why I created Crusadia. This is the thing for me that I now know. I'm like, this is everything I should be putting all of my marbles into this basket. And business guys would tell you to never do that. You should never put all your eggs into one basket. But I kind of disagree when it comes to the way I do things, because the way I do things is it's so spiritually aligned. And it's not spiritually aligned for me to be in 5 different places at once, because I naturally care more than I should. That's just the type of person I am. And part of it for you, take a sip. Oh yeah. But part of it for you genuinely is trying to figure out who you are as a person and how you tick in a day to day. I can't half care about things, and versus me trying, and there's so many videos on this. I highly recommend you go through the channel. There's a playlist on YouTube that says you are the hero to your own story. I really want you to walk through it because it's going to understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it and where it's coming from. You want to make money in a way that should enhance your spirit. And people think of money as this thing that you extract. Like, how do I grab money from people? And I disagree. Because what is money by definition? It's a value of exchange. Whether it was in pesos or in rocks or any sort of piece of paper that is basically all money now, soon to be digital probably. Story for another day. But point is, it's just an exchange of value that we mark as valuable. Easy. That's why we have to have it, right? Like, okay, for this thing, you know, it's worth $50 of mine to go do this thing. That's how exchange works. And people don't realize this, but it's an exchange of value. If you know how to deliver value, and value can come in so many different ways. For example, this tripod that I'm recording this video on, that is a value. Some guy thought, wow, there's probably people that record content but have no one to record them, and versus them having to do a selfie style or find something to put it on, I might as well give them a stand that they can just do this with. That's a value. And people really think like, what's the vehicle that's going to get me to everything that I want? And you shouldn't think of it that way. I actually think it messes you up because it puts too many pieces on the board. Versus, what do I want my day-to-day process to look like based on who I am as a person, based on what I enjoy doing in my day-to-day. There's always going to be things you don't want to do, but you always want to make sure that that mission that you're after means something to you. It's forcing you to sharpen in ways, solve certain problems that are so difficult to solve, that it forces you in your head to dial in and sharpen in ways that you crave on a personal level. This is what I mean by the day-to-day. The way that I personally make my money is spiritually enhancing because I know how much of a difference I make. I personally want to leave an extremely positive impact on people's lives. And there's so many ways of doing it. But for me, it's taking them from even something where it's like, I don't know what to do. I just know I have so much heart and I care about becoming something that I can look proud of in the mirror, and to have stories for my grandkids and to raise good kids and to just leave it all out on the line before I die. That's all I want to do. I'm telling you right now, this is exactly who I am as a person. I never was particularly passionate about anything that I did on a personal level where it was like, dude, I just love working out. It was just something I knew in my head. I'm like, this is sharpening me in ways mentally, physically, even spiritually. Everything for me is spiritual. When I lift, it's spiritual. When I eat, it's spiritual. When I work, it's spiritual. And to carry that with you, this is how you can play in the day-to-day. This is how I'm able to expend. And honestly, dudes from Crusadia can attest down below. The amount of force I just put down and the amount of force I generate on a day-to-day basis is unheard of. But it's because I'm leading with my spirit. I'm leading with my heart. In general, like, it's the way people talk about a girl that they love, or kids that they're raising. Your kids keep you up in the middle of the night because they're crying as newborns, right? Let's hope that's not the case at like 25 or something, but whatever. There's such love there that they're not gonna let their kid cry, or let's say their kid's on a bad path. They're gonna stay up all night worrying about how to solve that problem. That's them leading with their heart. Leading with your heart's an extremely painful existence, because there is a pain tolerance. But what you don't realize is that tension that everyone's trying to remove through therapy or whatever, that's actually your best friend. You guys know this, the way you grow your muscles inside the gym is through tension. Without tension, you cannot grow. And it's learning how to take that tension, not just having tension for the sake of it and suffering for the sake of suffering, but it's suffering with purpose. It's tension with a purpose. And you know that you're moving towards this line, that it hardly matters what vehicle you're in. What you need to do is build, and I hate when people say it's like, build high income skills, or something I used to hear a lot. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I like wording it a little bit differently. High leverage skills. For example, content creation is a high leverage skill. Even marketing is a high leverage skill. Learning AI is a high leverage skill. Solis says it is, but you can use it in a way that's actually enhancing your mission. A lot of people, one thing they're not going to realize is AI is going to end up making everyone sound the exact same because they're automating their brains to a robot. You should use it to assist you in your mission and who you are. But my point is you have all of these skills, and then I promise you, if you just keep on moving forward with just learning, it's about learning and then executing on what you've learned in some sort of way. It can be through a job, it can be through a business you're helping somebody on, or it could just be just like a service you're offering to people for free. But learning and then executing over and over and over again, I'm telling you, if you just allow this to happen, your days are going to unfold the way they may. I barely plan out anything that I do. It's not because I'm anti-planning. All you have is this moment. Right now, I'm in this video and I'm talking to you. That's it. Nobody else. And no one really talks about this in business because everything is about planning. But at the end of the day, it's just about direction. Am I being directionally correct with this action? And then eventually you'll be able to dial in just like your sets in the gym. If you've never done a set inside the gym, don't worry if I'm doing this correctly and perfectly. You want to do it as perfect or as correct as possible, but it takes time to actually get to a point where it's like, this is quality. Mastery takes time. But it's no difference than with business and how you make your money, right? No difference. If you even don't know what the hell you're going to do with your life, is this directionally correct? Yes. Yes, it is. It is directionally correct. Is this the best decision I can make for my life right now? And guess what? You saying, it's not the best decision, so I'm not going to do anything. You doing that stupid task that you deem stupid is a lot closer and directionally more correct than you doing absolutely nothing. And then you allow opportunities to unfold because now you're in the game. You have inertia. But there's an element of faith you have to have for things to just unfold as they may. But your goal is to make sure that the things you're doing at the end of the night, and you can't lie to yourself at the end of the night. You know if you're like, dude, I'm actually proud of what I put down today. And that to me, that's leading with your heart. And that is why this is the very first step in the very first video I'm doing, because we'll get into specifics. I want to hear what you guys actually want to hear about. And then even in addition, it's just because I'm now at phase 2 of my life. And to be honest with you, I've been in phase 2 for a couple of years now. And I almost like to give it a little bit of whirlwind and room. I was doing fitness for quite some time, and I'm always going to do fitness because it's such a part of my life. And it's crazy as it sounds that actually, like on days I feel like I'm in a rut with business, I'll just go upstairs, I'll crank out a workout, and it feels like it just calluses my mind and sharpens me in ways that brings me right back into the game. One of the few levers I pull on where everything else falls in line. It just happens that way. But this is a part of the process. It's phase 1 of fitness, and I have so much fitness stuff that you guys are more than good enough. But now comes phase 2, which is a portion of my life I've been in for the last couple of years. Honestly, 3-4 years. My entire life, honestly. Always trying to figure things out. But now I'm in a place where I can explain these things in a way that is so unique to what you see, you know, this vanilla extract business stuff, which is valuable in some regards, but no one's talking about it from this lens where it's actually about facilitating the day-to-day of a life you want, with the things that you want, with the resources you want, with the money you want to allocate. People say, this is how I make money without selling my soul. Fuck that. How can I make money while enhancing my soul? Because you can do it that way. It takes a long time to get to these points, but it's about you being a type of person to where when something taps you, when the mission taps you on the shoulder, because that's how it works, you don't find your purpose finds you. And it typically does not come in a nice bottled up feeling package. It's actually the opposite, and that's when you actually have to jump. It'll never come to you because you've been asking for it, and I truly believe God will give you whatever you ask for, but he's never going to make it easy. He's going to make sure you actually want it. And it's your job, regardless how stupid it looks on paper, to pounce. You have to be in a position to where you are the type of person that can take advantage of this opportunity. And then just trust. You just do everything you can in right now, in this moment, and you allow it to unfold. But I want to explain these things, even the way you make content, even the way that you conduct business, the way you create a product. It could be a physical product, it could be a service, whatever it is. But these are things I think are super important because what this is documenting everything in real time for you guys. And matter of fact, I always want to make sure that I've kind of lived it for a while, found it, and that way I'm not too far removed. But then that way I can explain things to you guys that you can actually apply. If I've been doing this for 25 years, it's going to be tough for me to remember what it was like 25 years ago. But I'm only a few years removed, a couple years removed. And so I can explain these things because I know what it's like. I know what the pain points feel like to go through this process and the intricacies of the mind and how difficult it is to find these things. But this is what I want to do for you guys. And I think it's time. And I think that the people on this page have really come a really long way of progressing. You know, like they've progressed their fitness, but now it's like, how do I take this physique powered presence and really move it to where my real life reflects my physique? That way it's all congruent. Anyways, I appreciate watching this video. I hope this is well worth your time. A little bit of a different one. If you guys are interested in these topics, seriously, I need you guys all, every single one of you that is interested, I want you to comment down below. If you're new here, watch through my previous videos. Watch through the coffee talks. Watch through the fitness stuff if you're interested in fitness. Uncle Ryan, where'd you get those delts? They didn't come on accident. You know, your boy works real hard, but it's just because I apply the same process. All I can do is knock out today's training session as much as possible. Be as dialed in as humanly possible. Then I refine the process, that day-to-day process. My diet, I refine that. And I'm doing the same exact thing with business. It's all the same exact thing. You get good at one area of your life and everything will follow through. But I do want you guys to watch through all the other videos if you're new here, if this resonated with you. My boys in Crusadia, those of you guys don't know, we have a digital country. It's not a play on words, we actually do. Unbelievable. We've been out for about a month and a half since our Independence Day on June 22nd, and it's been absolutely spectacular in terms of how much it's progressed in such a short period of time. It's actually unbelievable. And the people we have in there, I mean, are doing crazy business numbers, are just looking to get into fitness, guys that are looking to get to that next level in fitness. It's truthfully from step one to everything in your life. And the way we do is in a way where by the time you walk into all those things, you're not going to have a need to burn it all down or have these things where it's like, yeah, you know, I sacrificed everything for the money. We can have it all. And that's how we do it. That's why we have extremely special individuals. That's why it's no outsiders, only outliers. There's people that have supreme level talent but have no avenue or direction to actually walk that through, and that's exactly what wakes me up every single day and allows me to fire from the hip, because I think I've learned these things all the hard way, that I can explain these things on such an intricate level that many people are not able to. I can even get it down to the cellular level, and it's because I've lived it. And this is exactly what I anticipate is going to happen. I already know we're going to reign king in the online space. There's no doubt about that. And it's just because we're building from the right places and it's divinely moved. Anyways, I love you guys. From Uncle Rami to the Natural Crusaders. Crusadia down below. Really highly employ you to really check that out and to join. It's $49 a month, $0 cancellation fee. I'm not trying to bring people in and lock them into stuff. I know what we have here, and I know that it's meant for the right person. And if it's not the right person for you, you'll probably get it right out the gate. More resources you know what to do with. I could literally talk about all the features and all the deliverables there. More than people. Basically, I have more stuff than most people are offering for $5,000 plus. And that's because what I'm looking to build is something extremely real and that takes over the earth, truthfully. But anyways, I love you guys. Uncle Rami out. Peace.